Hello, my name is Krista Spencer. This is my final Community Nursing 2 project. I'm making this video to reflect on my community educational project for Professor Carter, and today is the 29th of March 2019. I feel like I really don't want this to be similar to my last video, but it will be in some cases. What I plan to do is go down the list of the questions I'm supposed to touch on in this wrap up of everything. And I just want to say a big thank you to Professor Sherry Carter as well for her guidance during all of the 8 weeks and of the project. So the tips and hints were helpful and the guidance was really helpful. So I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so getting on with it. A brief summary of my project was I basically chose to teach at a community hospital I just happened to work at. I taught the staff and any visitors or patients that I came in contact with in the area I was assigned about infection control / flu prevention and the flu vaccine. I had them as my target audience. First, I talked to the staff, then I had a 2-hour window I was given to speak with whoever happened to be in that area. So I determined the topic I was going to do based on asking kind of in a windshield survey of staff what they thought the biggest issue at the time was when I was doing my Community Nursing 1. And in the state of Michigan, the winter months are considered our flu season, and we have a lot of flu complications. I work in a surgical area, and if you've recently had the flu or you have the flu, you can't have your surgery. And if you're coughing, you're not supposed to even come to our hospital. It's like this whole health initiative. So it had been coming up so much and people had mentioned it in the survey, and I just started doing more research on it and finding out that it was pretty prevalent. So I did choose that as my goal in the community. I presented the project on March 15th of 2019, and the permission was given to me by my assistant manager of the surgical department and the trainer of the department. And I worked along with them to get kind of the permission to take the couple pictures I was allowed to take, to have the area. They filled out, or my assistant manager filled out the form for the class, and they kind of helped guide me in that way. They allowed me to use the printer at the hospital for my, materials. So a big thanks to them. And I didn't necessarily advertise. I just kind of had myself set up for anyone who would walk by. I would kind of approach them or they would approach me. But the hospital did provide some signs as well for the flu season, and the information on those was really great. I did include a picture of that in my last video with the slideshow. So the educational material I provided, again, was the trifold of information, as well as just kind of having conversational teaching, and talked a lot about like myths of the flu vaccine and what the flu vaccine is and what hand washing and what hand sanitizer is really for and what it does. And it got to be very off topic, but not, which is something I learned. Just when you talk to people, people's perceptions are all different, and of course the nurses' perceptions are different from the patient's perceptions and those of the older generation and the visitors. So I got a wide variety of people in the community, which was really great. For me, evaluating my own efforts is hard. I didn't really have a project or something to go on. I did a lot of reading of requirements for other schools, what their projects were, and a couple of resources I found were like PDFs of standards just in general of community nursing projects, how they should be. A lot of them sounded like they were set up to be like at a health fair setting, which my hospital does do. I think they're having a heart health fair in April of this year. They do some certain charitable things as well, but I didn't really want mine to be like that. I wanted it to be more educational than just, hey, stop here, get some candy or a magnet, and be sure to get your, mammograms or something. The population responded really positively that I talked to. I think a lot of people were interested in talking to a nurse, or thought it was neat that I kind of talked to them, and that I'm not really a shy person. I don't think you can be shy if you're a nurse, just an aside. That's my own opinion. And I think people really responded to me saying, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I have some information I'd really like to share with you. I'm working on a project for school. And people really, I think, like to feel included, or that they feel special that you're talking with them about it and telling them what you're doing. The staff thought it was kind of silly, to be honest with you, but a lot of them thought it was nice too. Of course, there's always a few, right? Okay, so I was really satisfied with the fact that I was able to come up with a really interesting topic. I was able to pull off everything I wanted to do, but I wasn't satisfied with not having more kind of time. I only had a 2-hour window mainly, and I wanted to kind of do it over a couple of days was my original idea, but I was told not to do that, to just take one day. So the changes I would make, I might have more visuals, maybe like a board setup would have been nice, or something of that nature. Or like a big sign, kind of, maybe it would have been helpful, which I didn't really think to do. I just thought, okay, I'm just a nurse teaching. I didn't think I needed all of that, but I think it would have been more appealing. I don't know if it would have taught more, but it might have made me look more legitimate. Or, and a lot of people were asking me too, is this something the hospital always does? And I would just say, no, this is my own project I have to do. And so that was one thing. Critically analyzing my scenario, I feel like the situation was really good, as far as it was like an open, good discussion with different types of people. I feel like they can then take what they learned and talk about it with their friends and family and other people at the hospital. I think when you talk to one person, you're probably really talking to a few more people. A lot of people will probably be saying, hey, this nurse talked to me about flu. This is what she gave me. Maybe we should get our flu vaccine. Hey, maybe we should wash our hands more. Maybe we should be covering up our coughs more, even in the house. Maybe, we should go through these things because it is flu season, and the hospital kind of reminded us with the signs as well. And maybe it could really get a lot going there. My own perspective of the community health at national, state levels and healthier population is different. I thought I sort of knew what a community nurse was. Actually, I'm going to tell you really what I thought it was just any nurse that works at a health department. In the state of Michigan, we have county health departments. So I live in a county called Oakland County. So if I needed information or wanted vaccinations or whatever it is, I go to the Oakland County Health Department. They do different types of programs and a lot of them are free or cheap because it's the government funded on the county level. So that's what I thought a community nurse was. I didn't realize that they did like the analysis and tried to come up with these other, tactics. And I never thought of like a nurse in the schools being a community nurse as well, but I guess it is. I can see in a lot of different settings in the community how it could be. So I did learn a lot about that, and it made me think about it differently. I feel like the impact of my project was very good because it wasn't in an in-your-face way. It was more of a gentle teaching reminder, nursey way for the population that I talked to, as far as having them kind of hear what I said and then walk away with something and then actually be able to, have a conversation. I think that works better in my nursing career of like saying, hey, let's sit down and have a little chat and talk about how things are going than being like in your face and you have to do this and you have to get your shot every year and you must, you know, do this. And I don't think people respond well to the old way of doing things anymore. People want somebody who seems more of a caring friend. And that's basically how my project went. I would probably just, like I said, change those few things. I feel like I was pretty successful. I achieved the goals I set out to achieve. I'm really proud of what I did. And I think it did really make an impact, at least for that one day at a community level. And I am really thankful to everyone, as far as my supervisor, trainer, and Mrs. Carter, for kind of making me come out of my shell. I think in this program with Aspen, it's been just a lot of like writing papers, researching, and which is good, and I have learned from that, but it's more of getting out of that box and going out and talking to people in the community, because I think a nurse kind of always should be learning and talking and teaching in her nursing career in some way. So it was really good for me to do that, and actually have to plan a project and execute it was actually very good for me. So I just want to say thanks for watching this video, and if you need anything else or you're looking for anything else, let me know. But that is my overall review and kind of just my evaluation of everything. Thank you for watching.